Hello my friends, this is Jose from LUOVITA and we are going to discover how to discover your true self. So it is possible, it's not so difficult. You can start by exploring, for example, different aspects of your personality. So it's not necessary to quit everything for that. That means add new experiences in life in order to discover more about yourself, about your personality. So for example, this process of self-discovery will provide you, for example, with a better sense of who you are. Once you have this sense of who you are, you can begin to realize that what brings you joy, for example. You might miss, for example, something, but if you know what makes you happy, you notice that are more opportunities that opens for you. Once you have this confidence to acknowledge, for example, your emotions, you'll be able to identify what you are really looking for. So once you understood, for example, your true nature, the next step is discovering and understand these emotions. Without understanding, for example, your feelings, or you're unable to discover your true meaning of your life. So in addition to recognizing, for example, these emotions that sometimes cause us unhappiness or unfulfillment, you're able to experiment with these other areas in life. So all this will give you more confidence and help you to make this bigger impact on the world. So in order to discover your true self, you'll have to get rid of all the things that are keeping you from living this life of fulfillment. I know that many people don't make really the effort of knowing themselves because they are afraid of discovering they will make, for example, being afraid of something, of being alone. But by being alone sometimes, this will help you uncover your flaws and these negative traits and also the positive ones. That means eventually this will lead you to discovering his true self. So if you're ready to start the progress, this process, we are going to some tips. And the first is discovering is what you really want. That means it's not that difficult if you take this time to define yourself. The most important thing is to focus on what you're most afraid of, for example. This can be difficult but the idea of your true self is powerful. And if you're scared, for example, of being alone, you can find yourself by being open to your feelings. Getting to know your true self begins with this understanding of your different selves. You, for example, you can imagine the future and imagine the world in which you live. You can also imagine other scenarios that are closer to your life and get a sense of your true identity. So your real sphere of self does not need necessarily to be very clear. It's simply a reflection of your, for example, past experiences. If you are aware of these emotions, for example, you are more likely to recognize these traces on your personality. So once you have, for example, identified your true self or near, you can begin exploring these different versions of yourself. For example, imagining the future and the past versions of yourself, you can identify, for example, the ways you can create a life that is more authentic and true to yourself. For example, you can imagine your true self as a child, and then can imagine what it'd be like if you lived in such a world that you imagined, or your true self is not defined on this particular moment, for example. Other selves you have, for example, you can encounter different time frames. You can spend all your day fulfilling, for example, your desires, satisfying obligations, but your mind is occupied with this, what dictates your private sphere, your social, your unconscious. So your subconscious self, for example, can add memories of your childhood and affecting, for example, your identity. It is impossible, for example, to change yourself unless you are willing to make changes of your personality itself. So learning to recognize your true self is the key to living this purposeful life. So it helps you avoid, for example, unnecessary stress and frustration, and it helps you also discovering what you want. So by discovering your true identity, you can create a life that is meaningful and has a positive impact on the world and yourself. So in this process, you also discover this really inner self. So if you are willing to put this work, this effort to discover your true self, you will be amazed at how far you've come and how far you can get. So if you need help, if you need more help, I have a lot of resources in the descriptions and links and everything you can explore. Re-listen to this video and let me know what helped you, what could help you more. So I'm really open to feedback. It's very important that we are getting farther with this. So this, as I said before, this video, I'm here to help. So it's based on research, some personal experience, and let me know, really, these are content that should help someone. So again, I wish you courage and invest in yourself. It's the best thing we can do. So let me know. Take care. Until next time. Bye bye.